Hi everybody, welcome back to Marie's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're making green bean casserole. And while I wasn't planning to film this video, I got a message from Zeke5491 and he says, "Can you do a fresh green bean casserole? After losing my wife in the spring, I realized I don't know how to make it. Everyone loved her green bean casserole. I have to try. It was requested." When I saw that, I immediately got to work on a green bean casserole using fresh green beans, and I'm ready to share it with you today. And Zeke, I have to say, I think it's so wonderful that you're honoring your wife in this way and bringing her to Thanksgiving in a way that y'all can all celebrate her memory. So I'm really excited to share this with you. Let's get started. Okay, step one, I have about 1.5 pounds French green beans, and the French green beans are just a little thinner, a little more tender, so get these if you can. I've rinsed them and now we're just going to cut them into thirds. These, for the most part, are already trimmed, but if you see one that isn't, you can do that too. These little tender ends here, I don't mind these, so I just leave those on, but you can trim those if you like to. So we'll just cut it into about thirds. Of course, it doesn't matter that the pieces aren't all the same size. All right, now we'll head over to the stove where I have a pot of boiling salted water. And now we'll add our green beans. And we'll boil those for about 8 to 10 minutes. I like mine a little on the softer side, so you can kind of, when you scoop out the casserole, you can scoop it with a spoon. It's easy to eat. It's not real crunchy. So 8 to 10 minutes on the beans. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. So what I have here, hopefully you can see it, is just a bowl of ice water. And I'm just going to move them over to the bowl of ice water to stop the cooking. You don't want them to get too soft, and this will also help keep that bright green color. All right, now I'm just going to drain these. And then if you want, you can put them on a paper towel just to dry them out a little bit. You don't want to be adding a bunch of water once we make the gravy, so it's good to let this towel absorb some of that water. All right, now we're going to make the mushrooms and the sauce. So we'll start with 2 tablespoons butter. Just heat that up in a large pan. I'm going to add a little olive oil to that too. And then we have 1 pound sliced mushrooms. It's always a good idea to store your mushrooms either in a paper bag or in the container that they come in, but with a paper towel folded on top, because that will absorb the moisture and prevent them from going bad so fast. All right, now we can add our mushrooms, and this is about medium-high heat. We're going to cook these for about 15 minutes or until most of the liquid from the mushrooms evaporates. I think mushrooms are the best part of green bean casserole. I gave some to my son Jack as I was testing out, different ways to make this. And after he tasted it, I said, "Well, what could I do to improve this, green bean casserole?" And he said, "Less green beans." So you can imagine I went back to the drawing board after that one. Okay, this looks good. You can see they're starting to stick to the pan a little bit, which means the liquid has evaporated. Now we'll add 3 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to use my garlic press, so there's hardly any chopping involved in this recipe. And then we'll add about 2 sprigs of thyme and just take the leaves from that. So you just pull the leaves off, and a few soft stems are okay as well. This adds a really nice earthy flavor. Okay, there's our thyme. We'll give this a stir. I'm just gonna cook until fragrant, and it sure gets fragrant fast with all that garlic. Whoops, runaway mushrooms. Whoopsies. All right, now we'll take 2 tablespoons all-purpose flour, and this will help thicken our liquid so it makes more of a gravy or a sauce. I'm just gonna cook that with the mushrooms, and it's gonna get really dry. Don't worry, we'll fix that in a minute. We're cooking the flour for just about a minute with the mushrooms. At this point, if you wanted to, you could add a tablespoon or two of brandy or cognac if you like that. I decided to leave it out just because some people don't cook with alcohol, and also it's just another ingredient. I try to make as few ingredients as possible in my recipes. All right, next step is about 1 1/4 cups chicken broth. And if there's any flour or bits on the bottom, you want to just scrape that up. Gracie's saying some new things. We don't know exactly what she's saying, so I'm gonna have to get y'all's opinion on that. We're gonna cook this over medium heat for about 2 minutes or so, just till it starts to thicken. All right, this looks great. You can see it's a little bit thicker. Next, we'll add 1 1/2 cups, half and half. And then 1 teaspoon of stone ground mustard. You could use Dijon. I'm not even gonna measure, I'm just gonna put in about a teaspoon. And then also 1 teaspoon Worcestershire. Now we'll mix that in and let it cook for about 5 minutes. Okay, this looks great. You can see it's nice and thick. Looks really good. So to make this extra creamy, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sour cream. I worked really hard on adding some interesting flavors like the mustard and the Worcestershire, the sour cream. We're gonna add some Parmesan and some lemon zest. So all those flavors together just makes this really delicious instead of kind of this one note bland green bean casserole. So next step, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon lemon zest. And then 1/2 cup Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese makes everything better. And it's kind of a subtle cheesiness, but so much good flavor. Now, 1 1/2 teaspoons salt, and of course some freshly ground pepper. Okay, now we'll just give this a stir to combine. Now we can turn off the heat. That's done. Let's preheat the oven to 375 degrees. All right, we have our nice large casserole dish. I did grease the inside with some butter. We'll add our green beans to that. And then next is the gravy. Yum. We'll add that in, pour that right on top. Okay, I'm just gonna toss this together. Wow, it looks amazing. Now that is a beautiful green bean casserole. Now we'll pop this in the oven and bake until the filling is bubbling and the green beans are soft, about 30 to 40 minutes. All right, now for the topping, you can either use a container of French fried onions. These are so easy and they're nice and tasty and crisp. But if you want to go kind of the extra mile and do something that's really, really good, you can fry your own onions, or what I'm doing is shallots. So I have about 4 shallots. You can cut them thinly, or if you have a microplane, then you can slice them really thinly pretty quickly. I'll show you how that works. When you get to the end, just be really careful because you don't want your fingers slicing on that blade, but you see how they come out real nice and thin. We'll do one more. Now I'm gonna pour some, this is light olive oil, and pour that into a pan about, 3 inches up. So it is kind of a lot of oil, which is a hassle, but these are so good. So I'll set this over on the stove and bring it up to about medium high heat. When you put the shallots in, you want them to sizzle and float and fry and not just sink to the bottom. And then what I have over here is sort of an assembly line of shallots, milk or half and half, and flour. And what we'll do is just take some shallots, soak those in the milk, let that drip off, and then toss them in the flour. And then just kind of dust off some of that flour, and we'll set them over here while we're waiting on the oil. Okay, I'll finish these up and then we'll fry some onions. Let's test out a few of these shallots. Oh, looks great. Maybe turn the heat down just a little bit. There goes Gracie. Okay, these look nice and golden. We'll set those aside. And then if you like, you can put a little salt on these. Let me see if you can see them. There they are. Put a little salt on there while they're hot. Okay, the casserole is done, and I've fried up about 1,000,000 onions. They look so good. So this looks wonderful. It's nice and juicy. I do like to give it a stir. And the final ingredient is to add 1½ teaspoons lemon juice. Just brightens things up. And a 1/4 cup more of Parmesan cheese. And we'll give that a stir. Yum. So now we can, let me have a taste. Can't wait. Get a good scoop. What am I doing? Somebody help me. I really love that. Now we can put some onions on top. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. Dig into that. I can't wait for y'all to try this one. If you try it, take a picture, put it on the community page or send it to me and I'll share it there. I would love to share everything that y'all are making for Thanksgiving. So if you made some pies, send those over. I can't wait to see everything. And thank you so much for this request. I hope it helps you get through your Thanksgiving. I know the first holidays without someone you love is really hard. And I really do love the way you're honoring her and remembering her. I know she would be thrilled. For this recipe and more, head over to my website, marieseva.com. There you can go and print out this recipe and all my recipes. And if you like, put them in a notebook and make your very own Marie's Kitchen cookbook for free. If you like this video, please be sure and hit the thumbs up button. Then scroll over if you can and find the hype button. Also subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications because I have lots more videos coming up and I don't want you to miss any of them. My goal is to make some really easy recipes that turn out great every time so you can build some confidence in the kitchen and feel really inspired to share good food with people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, thank you. See you next time. Hey, Coco. How are you doing, girl? Huh? What you doing? Huh? Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Want to get up on your couch? Who's a good girl? Oh, you have your little dolly. There she is. Oh my goodness. This is her little dolly. She plays with it, but she doesn't destroy it like her other. It's her little teddy bear. It's so cute. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now we're gonna say hello. Coco, say hello to Birdie. Huh? What do you think, Coco Puff? Was that a good show? Yeah? Was that a good show? Oh, she's a good girl. You're a good girl.